well for both plants and a small percentage of prey survives. At first I thought of making 10% of any population randomly immune to predation, but that seemed too contrived. So instead, I like the underripe overripe mechanic because odds are 50% of all Icali just had a baby. Icali is forced to run in the middle 50%. He wouldn't be chased. Wasting these, but between the underripe running a full utopian explosion as all populations grow throughout days 1 and 2. With that, we've reached the evening on day 1, and most creatures fall asleep. Pink flowers reach a population of 300, and ice flowers after 50, which is pretty steady growth. A success. That happened in previous simulations too, though, so it's not solely due to this update. Elsewhere, the predator Okwoku jumps into the lake to drink. Thirst was the one priority above sleepiness, so with the result of that, he instantly falls asleep. That's why you often see sleeping kinds of animals on coastlines at night in Utopia. But now Okwoku's hungry. With the new update, if the other yellow cows can escape Okwoku's circle of sight here, then they're safe. The less food in an animal's stomach, the lighter they are and the faster they run. In the wee hours of the foredawn, the yellow cow's population starts to climb well above the teal cows. Stash to support them. At midnight, it was 30, and now it's 44. The question is, will all these new yellow children put a strain Anyway, do you see how this swarm of 6 predators is chasing the small yellow cow? The cow is looking a little emaciated, but it's still edible because its hunger is above the 25% threshold. But as it runs over the mountains, its food reserves deplete lower and lower, so eventually hunger falls below 25%. And chase after a full-load teal cow instead. With this, you can see that the real 50% inedibility update is already saving lives. That's great, but here's some bad news. In Utopia, sharing doesn't exist. Whichever predator reaches the cow first receives all its calories. That being said, when I was creating this simulator, I did not expect creatures to herd together so much. Excluding freakiness, there are no forces pulling similar-minded creatures together. So clustering is just an emergent behavior because they all want the same thing, so they head in the same direction to get it. But hold on, the pink flower population has been declining for a few hours now, despite it still being daytime. And now it's below the 3-to-1 ratio with the yellow cows that we heard about earlier. In previous simulations, this imbalance would get exacerbated as the consumers got more and more desperate for food, like the 2022 crypto exchange FTX. But will that lead to an extinction here? Well, here's a clue. Notice those stray flowers in this field, but the yellow flower is just Around this time in last video simulations, all 5 species of creatures were extinct, compared to none extinct in this simulation. Which means the updates are doing some good work in delaying extinction. Anyway, the yellow cows go through their signature nighttime surge at 3 a.m. on day 3. By the way, someone recommended I make all creatures' hunger drain slower while they sleep, so I implemented that. But the nighttime surge still happens, and I produce this because sleepiness still rises at the same rate no matter what. But how's the overall surge going? Well, by 6 a.m., the yellow cow's numbers overtake the pink cows, and we're running the business as a hierarchy But that slight inconvenience to the cows is just enough to cause the pink flowers decline significantly. Another thing to remember is that flowers grow fast, also their the green grasslands 30 feet up, and ice flowers in the mountains 70 feet up. So a pink flower unfortunately launched into the Stone Mountains will actually spend
Bueno.
if it can just outlast the they starved to death, that godforsaken pink flower will actually live on into the next era. Just like those dandelions that like to say,
Estender lá fora, porque ele já vai se arrumar.
Anime girl.